सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ
I'd like to talk a little bit about Nidhi Dhyasanam.
Sure.
In no particular order. So, for example, today when I woke up in the morning early, my mind was clear, and for want of a better word, I was aware of presence. Or there was, I don't know what to call it. It was like there's something there. How do you talk about these things half the time? There was I was aware of presence, and I wasn't really thinking. I didn't have hardly any thoughts in my mind. So a couple of questions really. This presence is something I seem to be aware of, so it can't be, it's another object. It seems to me it's something I am aware of. And yet you can't say it's, you can't see it, you can't feel it, it's something new, but it's an experience. So then what is it? What is this presence? Is it the reflected consciousness? It certainly doesn't seem to be Brahman, because it seems to be an object that you're aware of. And what does it mean to be aware of awareness then? Lots of questions, really.
First of all, if you say I am having an experience of presence, already there is not a correct expression, because there is only presence or awareness, not there is you who have awareness. So when you say I wake up in the morning and I had the presence, the experience of presence, it is already a wrong expression. So it is awareness itself, which is aware of what appears in itself. And what appears in itself as different objects or apparent beings or the apparent universe, it is just a modulation of the same awareness, of the same consciousness. So it's like the water of the ocean, I am aware of the modulations of me in the surface. That's all. But the water of the ocean and the waves are not two distinct things. So you cannot say, I wake up in the morning and I had the presence, or I was aware of. I was aware of, it's just an expression, but I and aware and of, these three distinct apparent things are the same awareness or the same consciousness. And of course, we speak when there are objects or apparent beings or the apparent universe, we always speak about Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. Because without an apparent being, an apparent Jivatma, we cannot speak about the awareness of the senses, or the awareness of apparent objects, or the apparent beings, or the apparent universe. Prior to a Jivatma or an apparent being, there is no awareness of. There is only Brahman. So awareness of Brahman cannot exist before before the appearance of a Jivatma or an apparent being, we cannot speak and say that Brahman is aware of. Because there is only Brahman in that case. And that is also the glory of Maya, of the apparent beings, the apparent objects, the apparent universe, and the apparent life. That only through the apparent life, through the magic of life, we can speak and say, I am Brahman. Otherwise, without this apparent person, the apparent Chiddabhasa reflected consciousness, who will say, I am Brahman?
Mm.
Nobody. So it appears as three distinct things: I, my presence, and all the things around me, for example, which I am aware of through my presence. But in reality, there is only one consciousness modulating itself to the apparent Andrew, the apparent presence of Andrew, and all the objects or apparent objects or apparent beings around Andrew, and of course, the apparent universe. It's only a modulation. It's only an appearance of the same consciousness. The same consciousness appearing as these apparent three distinct things. Just like Ribugita has this expression, all is Brahman, and then it continues and highlighting there is no all.
Mm.
So first we can say all is me consciousness, and then we can say, yes, but all does not really exist. There is only me consciousness.
Mm. So
Sorry to interrupt you. Another example, there is a wave in the ocean, let's say, which is thinking, I'm Andrew. I'm the wave Andrew.
Mm.
But in reality, it is the water of the ocean which is expressing itself through the wave Andrew. There is only water, the water of the ocean. There is no Andrew.
Mm.
But the wave using the water, the essence of the water of the ocean, to say, I'm Andrew. But the essence is only the water of the ocean. There is no Andrew.
Mm.
The Andrew is only a superimposition of the water onto itself. A namarupa, names and forms, a labeling.
Yeah.
Instead of the water of the ocean says, I'm the water of the ocean which appears or appearing as this particular wave, it says, it expresses, I am Andrew. The same we can say for the pot and the clay. The pot and the clay.
Mm.
The pot says, I am the clay, I am the pot, but in reality it is clay. There is no pot. There is no substance of a pot. There is only the substance of the clay. But because there is the substance of the clay, we can speak about the pot. Without clay, can we speak about a pot?
No.
The same with all whatever appears and disappears. Because there is consciousness, We can give different names and forms, different labeling to whatever we like. We say, this is the sun. The sun don't say, I am the sun. Consciousness say, this is the sun.
Mm.
And the sun appears in consciousness, by consciousness, through consciousness. In the end, it is only consciousness. It is only a label. If you were to remove consciousness, who would be there to say this is the sun?
Nobody.
Nobody and nothing. Because there is consciousness, we can give all the names and forms. We can superimpose and label whatever we like. That's why Satchitananda said this quote. He did this quote. The absolute truth is that there is only knowing, knowing, knowing.
Mm.
There is only knowing. And in reality, before Chidabhasa, there is not even knowing. What there is, it is Brahman, but again, it is only a name. You cannot say what is this Brahman, because it is without any attributes.
Yes, I
It
can.
doesn't have.
I agree. I definitely can't say what is.
It doesn't have a name. It doesn't have, even if we call it Brahman, it doesn't mean really something with attributes. They have used in the scriptures the term Brahman because it is from the root br or something like this, which means something huge or vast.
Hmm.
Inconceivably vast and huge. That's all. But not that Brahman is something in inverted commas. It is existence itself, we can say. It is the source or the substratum. But other than that, you cannot say it has this form, it has this sense, sensation, it has this touch, it has this smell, or this sound. It doesn't have any attributes, so it can be an object of study. It cannot be objectified by any means.
Can you be aware of it?
No, you cannot be aware of something like Brahman, because Brahman is not something to be aware of, because you are that. It is what you are.
Mm-hmm.
You can only claim that. You can only declare, I'm Brahman. You cannot have an experience of that because you are that. If it would be possible, if it was possible to have an experience of Brahman, that would mean that it is not eternal, for example. That disappears. Now it appears, I have an experience of that. Now it disappears, so I don't have an experience of that. So it is something which is not eternal or timeless. Better.
So
it is timeless.
You can't experience it even for 1 nanosecond.
No, it is impossible because it cannot be objectified. We speak about an experience of something when it can be an object of experience. But Brahman is what you are. It cannot be an object of experience. You can only claim, I'm Brahman. You can only declare, I'm Brahman. You can only profoundly understand through the help of the Guru and through the help of the Advaita Vedanta teachings that I am that. But you cannot put it as an experienceable object. It is self-luminous. It is that which makes you say, I am. That which, because of that, you know something constantly and say, I'm aware of, I'm aware of, I'm aware of. It is that which is impossible to say that I was not that at a particular moment or for a period of time. Because even if you try, if you do the mistake to say, when I sleep, I'm not that, or when I'm drunk, I'm not that, or when I'm in coma, I'm not that. My next question will be, and what was aware that you are not that, or that you are not this period that? And then it will again appear as that which is always there. There in inverted commas, of course, because it is not somewhere or nowhere. It is spaceless, timeless, beginningless. It's only an expression when we say it is there all the time, of course. All our expressions just to help, but always these expressions cannot present 100% the truth. And even when we speak about the term truth, we speak about it because there is Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. When there is no an apparent person, the reflected consciousness, there is no Saksi Chaitanyam, the witnessing consciousness. So who will say something? Or what? Brahman cannot speak. Brahman is useless, completely useless. Cannot have any kind of utility. It is so useless that you cannot do anything with it. It is only the cause of any accommodation of whatever appears and disappears as an illusion, as Maya. But other than that, it is completely useless.
That sounds like almost like a negative statement, but it's not.
It's not a negative. It appears like that because the mind is used to speak with utility and with attributes. So it appears like that. The mind exists, or appearing to exist. It does not exist. It is only an illusion. But the mind appears to exist because it works with this kind of categorization and labeling and superimpositions, names and forms all the time. It cannot function otherwise.
Yeah.
So when you say Brahman is useless or Brahman is beyond even the expression, it is there and also it is nowhere, the mind is blocked. The mind starts to not like it. don't like it at all.
I think my mind's blocked.
The mind will say it must be there or somewhere. What means it is nowhere? It is nowhere because it is spaceless, timeless. You cannot say it is somewhere, Brahman, because somewhere or nowhere it is a supposition that there is space. But space is also a concept. Brahman is beyond any concept. That's why we say all the time in Advaita Vedanta that when we speak about anything, it is in the level of the mind. It is already Maya, Mithya. It is already something that which cannot really present Brahman. It can only indirectly be helpful for Brahman. How? By removing all the constructions. To remove all the mind constructions, you need mind. Even if the mind does not really exist, but it appears to exist, you use the mind to deconstruct the mind. How else you can do that except deconstructing the mind? You need the mind to deconstruct the mind. You need the mind to prove to the mind that it does not exist, and all the labels also does not exist. Do not exist.
There's only one mind in this process.
Everything is, all the teachings are using the mind, buddhi, it is a Sanskrit term, to deconstruct the mind.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to this myth that you need to destroy the mind or to abandon the mind or to kill the mind, this is also for kindergarten. Because the only way to deconstruct the mind is through the mind. How else you can do that? If you have false notions, you have them through the mind, through the buddhi. And to replace the false notions with more appropriate notions, you need again the mind, the buddhi.
Yeah.
You cannot deconstruct the false notions, let's say, with sleep or samadhi. Samadhi is helpful only to create a kind of preparation, a kind of citta suddhi, purification of the mind. It is useful for creating a conducive atmosphere. But you cannot have jnana yoga, self-knowledge through samadhi or through meditation. Knowledge can come only through the buddhi, through the teaching. Through Sravanam, Mananam, and even Nidhi Dhyasanam, you can do it through Sravanam if you are very much focused, for example. You believe that you are somebody, a person, and then comes the teaching to remove this false notion and to make you, to help you to declare that I'm not a person, I'm not the mind, neti, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. What I am, I'm Brahman. Then when you have concluded this process of Sravanam, Mananam, and Nidhi Dhyasanam, then of course you can stop using the mind for the sake of self-knowledge, and you can just use the mind only for loka sangraham, for uplifting the humanity, for conveying the teaching to the apparent others, but not because you need it anymore. When you have a permanent conviction and recognition that I am Brahman, a profound understanding in the heart of your heart, and it is not only an information that you have received, a data, but it is your own truth without any doubt, then of course you don't need any more the path, or you don't need any more a guru, you don't need any more the scriptures, but only when this profound understanding and this conviction and recognition is permanent. And when I say permanent, I don't mean permanent for 1 month. I mean for many, many years together, and no backwards, not going back to false notions for many, many years. Then you can use the teaching, Sravana, Mananam, and Nidhi Dhyasanam. You can play the role of the guru to apparent Sishyas. Use the path, use the Guru Parampara, and apply all this for the sake of humanity, for the sake of all the apparent others who do not have this permanent recognition and conviction, and who are full of misconceptions, misapprehensions.
Yeah, I kind of understand the function of Nidhi Dhyasanam and how you need to decondition the mind, and how you tell me many times that you need to use the mind and so on and so forth. But at the same time, distracting thoughts aren't useful either. You know, when you're doing Nidhi Dhyasanam, it's focused, isn't it? It's like, I'm deliberately thinking these thoughts. I'm deliberately contemplating a certain manner for a certain purpose, and however the contemplation might be. But it's functional, it's deliberate, and it has a purpose. And once you're, I presume, once you're resting in that, then you can stop contemplating. And then when you lose the experience of being in that, then you go back to your contemplation, to not experience, but you go from the contemplation. You don't keep contemplating forever.
Yes, you are contemplating until you have been persuaded in the mind, until the mind do not protest anymore with false notions.
Yeah.
And there is this certainty and this permanent conviction and recognition. And you can declare, you can claim, I am Brahman, and there is only Brahman, and I'm that, with complete certainty in the heart of your heart. Then, of course, you don't need to contemplate anymore. You can just rest and enjoy the self-knowledge. You can enjoy Advaitam, Jnanam.
We're talking about in each meditation, this process. This is like a blueprint for meditation. You can contemplate and then abide in Brahman, or abide as that, and then enjoy it, rest in it. You don't have to keep contemplating.
No. If you are convinced.
But even if you're not convinced, if you just keep on contemplating, surely at some point you need to stop and try, for one, inverted commas, to get a taste of Brahman without just going.
But there is no way to take a taste of Brahman, because that will mean that Brahman appears as a taste, as an experience, and then you lose it, and then again it appears. That will mean that Brahman is not something eternal or timeless, but it is only appearing and disappearing, something which is mithya, impermanent.
Okay, so you keep on contemplating.
It's not about tasting. It's not about taking a taste. It is about profoundly understanding and being totally convinced and recognizing that I am Brahman, I'm that. When that is on a permanent basis, and there are no any other doubts anymore, then you can enjoy this truth. You can enjoy this profound understanding, and just relax.
But you're not.
And declare, I am Brahman. Declare, claim, I am Brahman, I'm that, and that's all. That is all I need to know. No need to do anything else more. Now, if I can, after 10 minutes or after 30 minutes, I don't know, and a doubt will appear, you cannot say, I will rest, because there will not be any rest. You must deal with this doubt. You must recall whatever you have received from the precious lips of the Guru and the teachings. And again, go into this process of Nidhi Dhyasanam. Claiming through the Mahavakyams and through all the teachings that you have received and all the mananam that you have used to remove your doubts and to resolve your questions. You use all these until you stay again on that recognition and conviction and certainty of the profound understanding. Otherwise, it is not a Nidhi Dhyasanam. It is an attempt to go into the state of samadhi or into the state of relaxation, just like other paths they try to do, unfortunately, with the belief that this will lead them to moksha, to self-realization.
So
but it doesn't work like that.
So you're alternating between contemplation and then having this certainty or profound understanding. And then if you lose that, you go back to the contemplation.
Of course. Otherwise, how you can bring this state of permanent recognition and conviction, a permanent profound understanding of what you are.
So this process needs the mind, obviously.
Yes, how else?
But what about just garbage thoughts? I mean, we're talking about distinct, deliberate, willful, contemplative thoughts. But what about garbage thoughts that come along? Surely you don't want them in your mind. They're distracting you from your Nidhi Dhyasanam.
If thoughts of wandering do appear, you just go back to your contemplation, to your Mahavakyam's declaration.
Ignore them.
Ignoring them and just refocusing on Nidhi Dhyasanam, bringing the teaching in front of you, bringing the resolvement of your questions and the dissolution of your doubts through the manana, recalling whatever was helpful through your company, through your satsanga with the Guru, and through your study with the scriptures, until you have this state of no doubt, of no wondering. Am I really Brahman or I'm Andrew? If there is a doubt that maybe I'm not Brahman and I'm Andrew, then whether you will wish to relax and to enjoy relaxation and to just to enjoy a peaceful state, it will be just superficial. Because the lack of peace and the lack of relaxation and the lack of bliss, the lack of happiness, where does all this have their root?
The false sense of I.
Of course, into these false notions. I am Andrew. I am a limited, miserable human being. I am a limited person. I am a limited ego. I need a list of things to feel nice. I need this. I need that. I need to fight for this. I need to go there. I need to be that. I need to do that. All these neurotic behaviors and mindset, which is completely sick and neurotic. So if you really want the permanent happiness, bliss, and peace, The only permanent way is to find out that this is what you are, timelessly. You are that, but you are veiling with superimpositions all this that you try to find out through superficial means, through worldly things, through the person needs, the apparent person needs, the egotistic desires, the neurotic behaviors, the constant miserable lacking of everything, this sense of I'm lacking everything. One day when I have this, I will be happy. One day when I will become this, I will be happy. One day when I will manage to do this and that, I will be fulfilled and complete. Postponing everything for the non-existent future. Believing that you are this non-existent person, non-existent ego, non-existent individual identity, which is only a ghost, just a superimposition, just a label. So what is happening now in the world? Millions and millions of people, they try to do what they call meditation, and it is just a superficial attempt to become peaceful. Keeping at the same moment all the false notions. How that can be possible? It is a tragedy. I will relax, I will try to be peaceful, I will try to do meditation to relax and feel bliss and peace, but I will remain as a person. I will keep my false notions that I am Andrew, and I need to do this, I need to do that. After I stand up from my meditation, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to fight for this, I need to fight for that, I need to be that, I need to go there, I need to do this. So even if it will appear a small relaxation, it will be completely superficial. And even if somebody will go to, after a long time of trials and efforts, and after decades of practicing, even if somebody will manage to go into samadhi, samadhi will be only for the period of samadhi. When somebody will stand up after the samadhi, all the misery will come back. Why? Because somebody didn't work on the root of the misery. Which is the root of the misery? I am a person. I am an individual identity. I'm not Brahman. And because I am a person, because I am an individual identity, an ego, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to be that, I need to go there, I need to do all these things, I need to purchase these things, I need to manage this and that. And one day, when all this huge list will be accomplished, maybe in the future, in the non-existent future, I will be complete, I will be fulfilled, and finally I will be able to be peaceful, blissful, happy on a permanent basis. But only then. And the then comes, because it does not exist. There is no existence of time and space. Space and time are only concepts, thought forms. So it is a superimposition in many levels, and will never give the result, the permanent result that we want. Actually, all these are just a superficial attempt which will never give any fruition. It will be always like the dog which is hunting his tail for billions and trillions of lifetimes. But the truth of what you are lies in the eternal here and now, which is what you are. You are the eternal here and now. You are the bliss, happiness, peace that you are looking for. And you cannot find this in the worldly things or all in the all mithya things, the impermanent things. And you cannot find even in samadhi on a permanent basis. You can have samadhi as long as you are in samadhi. When you stand up out of samadhi, the person with all his neurotic misconceptions, misapprehensions, false notions will return together with all the misery and suffering and torturing. Even in Astavakra Gita says Astavakra to Janaka, it is true what they said. You are what you think you are. If you think you are a person, you experience the contraction and the suffering of a person. If you really think and claim and declare, not of course in a mechanical way, but with a profound understanding through the help of the Guru Parampara and the scriptures and the Guru, if you claim and declare, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, then this is the truth for you. It is all about the mind and superimpositions.
So is it good? Like I generally start off my meditation, I think, by trying to find Andrew. And then, as we've discussed before, then move on to what is aware of this thought form or the absence of the real person. And that's how I generally start. Where is Andrew? And then what is aware of this absence of Andrew or the thought construct that is Andrew?
Also add the substratum where everything like this kind of a process is accommodated. This process is accommodated, illumined and revealed in the substratum. And this substratum, in lack of a better word, is what you are. So when the thought, I'm Andrew, disappears, the substratum disappears also?
No.
No, it is there, always. So all these states of the mind, all these thought forms, they do appear and disappear, and being accommodated, revealed, illumined by the substratum. That's why sometimes this body-mind complex is using the expression, instead of focusing in the clouds, focus in the sky. Or instead of focusing in the waves in the ocean, focus in the water. And realize that there is only water, there are no waves. There is no even the ocean. We say the ocean, but in reality, there is water there.
So when I'm meditating and I become aware of this thought construct, which is Andrew, and I realize it's just a thought construct, then immediately I think, well, what's accommodating this experience? What's accommodating this thought, Andrew? Like this, you mean?
Yes, and also, where is it? Does it have a beginning point or an ending point or a centrical point?
You mean the thought bundle, Andrew?
No, the substratum.
Ah, okay. Okay,
It
yeah.
it doesn't have a beginning point, an ending point, or a centrical point. Where is it? It is nowhere. We use sometimes the expression here and now, but even this expression is not correct because there is no here and there is no now. It is only better than to say space and time. But here and now are only also concepts. So the substratum that you are is beginningless, spaceless, timeless, nameless, formless, attributeless, and we call it in Advaita Vedanta Brahman. So you can say Aham Brahmasmi. And remember all the teachings, and especially the Mahavakyams, Upadesa, that you have received from the Guru.
Right.
And if there are doubts, recalling again and again the teachings and the Mananam procedure, like the one that is appearing now. Yes, the Guru said to me this when I asked this.
Yeah, I do this.
Mm-hmm. So you are reinforcing with recalling the Savanam and Mananam, reinforcing the Nidhi Dhyasanam. It is contemplating the truth, contemplating and through recalling the Sravanam and Mananam, and especially the Mahavakyams Upadesa, like Aham Brahmasmi or Tat Tvamasi. I'm Brahman or I am that. This false notion, this misapprehension that I am a somebody, a person, an ego, or a distinct identity, or a human being, or a jivatma, should be completely deconstructed. There is no other way. It is the source of all misery and all suffering and all samsara. Samsara is the mind.
What kind of deconstructing?
Deconstructing by removing the false notion that you are the person, that you are the mind, that you are a distinct entity or a distinct ego or a distinct person or a distinct soul, a jivatma. By recalling the Sravanam and Mananam, by recalling the teachings, by recalling the satsangas that you had with the Guru. Again and again and again and again, until there is no doubt anymore, until there is no any trace of a doubt. Oh, yes, I believe now I'm Brahman, but sometimes I believe I'm Andrew.
I mean, it's quite easy. Well, I wouldn't say it's easy. It's easier, perhaps, than some other things, to think, well, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, because I claim that these are things that I own. It's relatively easy to think, okay, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. I'm the possessor, if you're deconstructing. But it's very difficult. It's more difficult than to think this sense of self or to identify the sense of self in the first place, and then to realize it's just a bundle of thoughts, or just to see through the deception of the sense of self being a real person. It's more difficult.
That's why there is the need of a guru, an external appearance of the guru, of an external guru, the need of a guru parampara, the need of the scriptural study, the need of following all the prescriptions of the scriptures, a dharmic lifestyle, a lifestyle as per the instructions of Ayurveda, which will produce a conducive mind, enough karma yoga and upasana, either through previous lifetimes or even in parallel in this lifetime, so we can have a purified mind, a conducive mind.
It's also
all these are necessary. Nothing is dispensable.
and
If you remove one of them, the recipe will not work. All the instructions are necessary. All the constituents of the recipe are indispensable, one by one.
yeah, I'm not really disputing that. It's just it's very subtle.
It should be subtle because you are subtle, subtle than the subtlest. Brahman is so subtle that there is no possibility to find any attributes. So how it can be easy? That's why there is the need of all these helpful tools as per scriptures.
Yeah.
Exactly because it is extremely difficult to deal with all these false notions.
Mm.
And these false notions may be trillions of years, of trillions of lifetimes. So how somebody can expect then that it can be easy in one lifetime?
There's also reluctance to want to let go of the false notion. It's like, good, because it is observable, the thought I, and seeing that it's just a thought. You can see it, and then you think, okay, I'm not this real person. I'm just this thought. But then you get up for meditation, and it's like, well, I'm just going to do what I do. You know, like there's a huge reluctance to go deep into it, because you start to realize the consequences. Maybe if you don't realize the consequences, it's okay, you can meditate for hours. But once you start to realize the consequences, then the ego's a little bit more reluctant, doesn't want to deconstruct. Is that not the case?
The ego, of course, will not like that and will protest and will do revolution to stop all the process.
Mm.
Because the ego wants to be distinct, wants to be an individual identity. So how it can be possible that it will like these procedures?
No, it doesn't like it.
And that doesn't mean that somebody should abandon the path to moksha.
No.
Should just use all the possible tools and help that can possibly find through the scriptural instructions, and especially through the guru and guru parampara.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody will be completely helpless and will just fall again and again and again in failure to reveal the non-existence of the apparent identity, the apparent individual identity.
So what, like, as I mentioned at the very beginning, so there's this, for want of a better word, presence. Like, for example, when I woke up today, what is it? What is this presence? It's bigger than me, bigger than Andrew. What is it?
Witnessing consciousness, Saccititania, which is because of the appearance of Chidabhasa reflected consciousness. Presence is there because there is a medium of expressing consciousness. Because the Sukshma Sarira, the subtle body, is there, and it is very fine enough, it can reveal consciousness as a reflected medium. Just like a polished mirror can reflect Andrew's face, it doesn't mean that the face in the mirror is true. So a person appears and have this Saccititaniam, this witnessing consciousness due to consciousness. It is a hybrid collaboration, let's call it. Like the Atma and Anatma is collaborating for Chidabhasa reflected consciousness to appear. Chidabhasa reflected consciousness cannot appear without Anatma, without Mithya Anatma. It is a collaboration. It is because of the mirror the face is appearing, but the existence is only in the face, not in the idol in the mirror. But without the mirror, can we have the reflected face?
No.
Exactly the same is for the apparent person or the apparent Jivatma. Because there is an apparent Jivatma, we have Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. Without the apparent Jivatma, there is no reflected consciousness, there is no presence, there is no witnessing consciousness.
So what's the best thing to do if one wakes up in the morning and there's a clear, you're witnessing consciousness or presence, it seems to be vivid or clear? What to do?
To recall the teachings and remember, I'm not Andrew, but I am that which is appearing. Because of that is appearing the presence, the reflected consciousness, or the witnessing consciousness, Saccititaniam. I'm not Andrew.
I'm that which is reflecting. It's to reveal the witnessing. You wouldn't say I am the witnessing consciousness. That's wrong, isn't it? To say I'm not Andrew, I'm the witnessing consciousness.
It's better to say I'm the witnessing consciousness than to say I'm Andrew. But to remember that prior to Andrew appearance, there were only Brahman, not witnessing consciousness. What witnessing consciousness, presence, or Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, can appear only if there is a fine reflection medium. In that case, a person or Sukshma Sariram. And in Sukshma Sariram, we have the buddhi, the mind.
No,
All this also mentioned care of Tattva Bodha.
Yeah.
All these procedures and how we can study the mechanisms of the apparent person and the apparent Jivatma. All these are mentioned very well in Tattva Bodha.
Yeah. Could you go over that again? I'm still not sure what so say tomorrow I wake up and I have this experience or feeling of presence, what to do, exactly what to do. I still don't understand.
Yes, for example, if you say, I have presence, already you are in delusion, because they are not two distinct things. I, who have the presence. There is only presence, witnessing consciousness, or Saksi Chaitanyam, or Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, which is appearing in the morning because there is this apparent person, this apparent Jivatma, this apparent Andrew. But prior to Andrew was only Brahman, without even the Saksi Chaitanya, the witnessing consciousness. Witnessing consciousness appears only when we have a good and fine reflection medium, just as the example with the mirror. So you can use this knowledge of presence in such a way to recall the teachings about what you are. So it can be conducive to moksha. But never say, I have presence. Because this is already a delusion, and it appears like there are two distinct things. I, whom I have presence.
So if I'm aware of presence, I'm also aware of I, what to do.
To remember the teachings, to recall the teachings. I'm not Andrew who has presence. I am Brahman, and now with the appearance of Andrew as an apparent person, we can speak about presence or Chidabhasa or a reflected consciousness. Use everything for moksha, everything to be conducive for moksha.
And is it useful, or even is there any point to remaining aware of this feeling of presence?
Yes, but with what I've mentioned earlier, with all this recalling of the truth and the teaching. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything.
Just to be aware of it doesn't mean anything.
No, it will never push you to moksha.
You need
just to see, just to speak about presence. You must go forward and recall the teachings, and especially the Mahavakyam Supadesa. There is only Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi.
So
I'm that.
You don't identify as Andrew, and you don't identify as the witnessing consciousness.
Yes, of course, it is a little bit better to identify with the witnessing consciousness rather than Andrew. But even you are not the witnessing consciousness, which is a hybrid phenomenon by the combination or collaboration of Atma and Anatma.
So it's not something you recommend to think I am the witnessing consciousness. You want to bypass that.
You can use the witnessing consciousness as a gate to the truth, to the more profound truth of the scriptures, and especially the Mahavakyam Supadesa. This is then self-knowledge procedure or process.
And in all of these processes, like you said before, if distracting thoughts come, you ignore them and you continue with your contemplations with focus.
Yes. Otherwise, you will go astray, following the other thoughts,
Yeah.
which lead just to wandering around without any conducive result.
Yeah. That is what happens.
So the purpose is self-knowledge of when doing anything of sadhana or spiritual practice. The purpose is to find out what you are. When I say myself, what means that? What is this self? Is it Andrew? Is it the witnessing consciousness? Is it presence? What is really myself? What is what I am? And only then we can speak about permanent happiness, bliss, and peace.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what you are, permanent happiness, bliss, and peace. How else you can have on a permanent basis what you are if you superimposing all the time that you are a person or an individual identity, an ego, a person, a jivatma.
It's impossible, probably.
Through worldly things, craving, and going after desires or going after the egotistic needs and wantings, it is impossible to have permanent peace, happiness, and bliss, or find out what you really are.
Mm-hmm.
It is only a vicious circle. That doesn't mean that as an apparent human being, the scriptures are conveying that you should just sit down somewhere and not doing anything at all. Anyway, this will not be possible because there is the need of the prarabdha karma exhaustion. So even if Andrew will decide to sit down and never to do something again, that will not be possible.
I'll try that.
It will not be possible because even if Andrew will stay for days, maybe some neighbors will come and say, "Oh, this person is sick. We need to take him to the hospital or to the psychiatric clinic."
Yeah. For sure,
You
for sure,
never,
will annoy you at
even
some point.
if Andrew decides to stay in the room without moving again, that it's not for sure that it will be possible. So the prarabdha karma will be exhausted anyway. But the scriptures are conveying that you do, in inverted commas, what you feel you need to do because of the samskaras and predispositions of the mind due to prarabdha karma. But at the same time, you try to have the scriptures as your GPS.
Yeah.
You use this GPS, you following the instructions, and then this will bring at least a more harmonious life.
Yeah.
Until you have the possibility to, and the good punyam, karma, good merits, good karma, to meet a guru and to start the process of moksha with him through the guru parampara. And even then, when you have the guru and the guru parampara and you are in the process, nobody said that you need to abandon some things that you need to do, but you do them according to the Dharma Sastram, according to the Dharma instructions. according to rules and regulations, which are meant for more harmonious, more peaceful life. So you go in parallel, you do your best, and one day you will be in the position or in spiritual mature state where you can declare and claim with complete certainty on a permanent basis, I am Brahman, I am that. I was never a person. I was never embodied. I was never somebody who was unenlightened and now I am enlightened. I was never in samsara. Samsara was only an illusion. I am Brahman and there is only Brahman, and there is no need of anything else to know or to do. And then you may do, but only for loka sangraham or for being an example for the humanity, but not because you try to find happiness.
Mm-hmm.
All are very, very nicely and perfectly described in the Holy Scriptures, in the Guru Parampara. Nothing is left without instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody has the wisdom to follow all the instructions, everything will be perfect. But of course, Advaita Vedanta don't remove the troubles and the prarabdha karma of the apparent individual, but it removes the false idea or the misconception that I have prarabdha karma.
Mm-hmm.
It will always remind that you are Brahman, you have never had any prarabdha karma, you were never in bondage or in samsara, and the one and only who has prarabdha karma is the non-existent one, only the apparent one.
Yeah.
And you just observe. You observe that that Andrew has today some pleasurable moments due to punyam karma, good merits, good karma, and also he had some papam, bad karma moments due to previous lifetimes bad karma.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew has this duality of pleasurable and non-pleasurable experiences. I'm only the observer, and even behind the observer, as Brahman. The
Mm-hmm.
observer, the witnessing consciousness, as I mentioned earlier, is only a hybrid of Atma and Anatma, and it is a nice gate for the truth, to enter the truth. What you really are is even prior to the observer or to the witnessing consciousness or Saksi Chaitanyam or Siddhabhasa reflected consciousness. You are prior to all of this as Brahman. So Andrew may be sad, may be nervous, may be tired, may be angry, whatever. It doesn't matter. You are not Andrew. Let Andrew be whatever he likes to be, or whatever he is obliged to be due to prarabdha.
Hmm.
But you are not Andrew. Andrew is a collection of thoughts and memories. a bundle of thoughts, of thought forms. And 60 years will completely disappear. Maximum 60 years. If you want 70, okay. If you want 80, okay. But will disappear. And the physical body will be 2 meters under or will be cremated. Not something permanent.
Seems to happen to everybody, that.
What?
Said it seems to happen to everybody.
Yes, to all apparent ghosts. Or thought forms or concepts. Whatever appears has the doom to disappear. Whatever appears is impermanent, mithya. Whatever has a form, it is mithya.
Yeah.
Only the formless can be real, can be permanent, which is Brahman, your true nature, your true self. All the rest are only dreamlike. Only a show lasting 3 to 5 days, says Janaka, says Astavakrat Janaka. Okay?
Okay.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः